Hello, I am Giselle Romeo, a fourth year AV psychology student, and today we are going to discuss one of the testing tools in psychology. But first, I'm going to give a little intro about what psychology is, and yeah, so psychology is a broad and diverse field that encompasses the study of human thought, behavior, development, personality, emotion, motivation, and more. As a result, some different subfields and specialty areas have emerged, and today we are going to focus on one of the different testing tools, which is the intelligence test. So, what is intelligence? Intelligence acquire and apply knowledge, reasons logically, plan effectively, infer perceptively, make sound judgments and solve problems. It grasps and visualizes concepts. It pays attention, find the right words and thoughts with facility, and intelligence cope with, adjust to, and make the most of new situations. So, different psychologists also have different definitions of intelligence. And for Francis Galton, he believed that the most intelligent persons were those equipped with the best sensory abilities. For Alfred Binet, he argued that when one solves a particular problem, the abilities used cannot be separated because they interact to produce the solution. For David Wechsler, he added that there are non-intellective factors that must be taken into account when assessing intelligence. Included those factors are capabilities more of the nature of cognitive, affective, or personality traits that include such traits as drive, persistence, and goal awareness, as well as an individual's potential to perceive and respond to social, moral, and aesthetic values. And for John Piaget, intelligence may be conceived of as a kind of evolving biological adaptation to the outside world, and as cognitive skills are gained, adaptation increases and mental trial and error replaces by physical trial and error. So, in this testing tool, we are going to focus on David Wechsler since the current standard intelligence test is developed by him. So, David Wechsler was born January 12, 1896 and died May 2, 1981. He was a Romanian-American psychologist. Wechsler is best known for developing several widely used intelligence tests, and one of these is the current standard intelligence test, which is the Wechsler Adult Intelligence Scale, or the WAIS. So there are strict age ranges for different versions of the scale. The WAIS for adults, the Wechsler Intelligence Scale for children, the Wechsler Preschool and Primary Scale of Intelligence. So Wechsler defined intelligence as the global capacity of a person to act purposefully, think rationally, and deal effectively with his or her environment. Wechsler saw intelligence in terms of performance rather than capacity for learning. So it measures behavior rather than trying to deal with the absolute limits of what somebody is capable. And it is not designed to measure the quantity of a person's intelligence. It just describes the behavior that was exhibited through the test. So the Wechsler test have a verbal and nonverbal or performance portion. The WAIS measure cognitive ability using 10 subtests focusing on different intelligence domains, which is the intelligence, verbal comprehension, perceptual reasoning, working memory, and processing speed are measured. So the mean or average score is 100. 85 to 115 is considered average. 110 to 120 is considered high average. And the highest possible score is 155, which is indicative of giftedness or genius. Above 150 is considered superior range, and below 70 can indicate possible mental retardation. Although it is not diagnosed retardation, it might indicate, or the test results might indicate that the person might be or should be tested for it more extensively. So all IQ tests must be administered by trained professionals. You can't just have anybody and give you these tests. They are often very complex and difficult to score, and tests are used in many fields such as education and aptitude testing in military. So intelligence and population. Intelligence scores follow a normal distribution or bell curve for most populations, and most scores are in the middle of the bell curve. 90% of the population is between 70 and 130. So the blue area in the graph, that is where most people fall. So ranges of scores are commonly classified: above 130, gifted; 70 to 84, borderline retardation; 55 to 69, mild retardation; 40 to 54, moderate retardation; and 25 to 39 is severe retardation. So these scores are not really just to pigeonhole somebody or someone and say that they are not gonna do better than that. These scores is just to find the appropriate education to help the individual learn. It is dangerous, however, to classify people because conventional IQ tests measure a narrow range of ability. Intelligence often develops over time, and some people are just poor test takers. So we might have know some situations that some people are very good in their job, but when it comes to taking a test or exams, they have their difficulties. Types of testing. So achievement tests fall under standardized, non-standardized, norm reference, and criterion reference categories. For standardized tests, it had been used, revised, and tested to establish an average level of performance. So it's given to enough of people to a long period of time to know where somebody falls. Scores given in terms of norm groups or others who took the test, and it measures as grade level scores or percentile scores. Non-standardized tests score measured as a fraction of the total. It measures factual knowledge through recall, recognition, and application questions. So it's an objective test. It expects you to know what you already know, and it is the opposite of standardized test, of course. And grades assigned according to the number of correct answers or overall impression of the student's work. Next is norm reference test. Norm reference tests compare each person's performance to those others who took the test. Grades are scaled or marked on a curve, and grades are based upon achievement instead of achievement on the test itself. So, in other words, they are based upon where do you fall in regards to achievement in relation to your peers or similar age group. And the last is the criterion reference test. It compares each person's performance to a predetermined standard. It allows the normal or bell curve distribution to occur. So, because when you're measuring people to a criterion that's been established, people are gonna fall to the left and to the right of the standard or the graph that I have showed in the past slides. Tests have certain measurement requirements for them to be useful. So there is the concept of validity. Validity ensures that a test measures what it is supposed to measure. It can be determined by measuring against a predetermined standard. Uh, let's say people are taking a test and there is an ongoing construction outside. The test could measure how much noise you can tolerate while you take a test versus what you can do or what you can actually do on it. Errors in a test administration or design can invalidate its results. So it may be because someone is not given enough time or given too much time or was given help while taking the test. Next is reliability. If you give the test multiple times to the same group, you should get the same results. New tests are administered to the same group of people several times to test reliability. Questions or parts that do not get consistent responses should be removed. So, if a test is not valid, it's not something that they can use or be used because it's not going to measure what you wanted to measure, and a test cannot be valid if it's unreliable. Practicality is the test cost effective and convenient. If it is too difficult or expensive to administer and or interpret, its value to the researcher is lost. So it can cost thousands or take years to administer. And the last is the norms. So norms give meaning to individual test results. A large and diverse reference group must exist to compare test results. It allows standardized scores to be given in terms of the amount of variation from the average of the entire reference group or a particular section of it. So that's why it's called norm reference test, kasi if you're way outside the norm, that can indicate very high ability or low ability. Criticisms of intelligence testing. So intelligence tests have been criticized because, we're all human beings. No matter how smart somebody is, there's still no way to know everything, and the design of these tests are still fallible. And IQ tests only measure a small amount of a person's ability. They may be invalidated by bad testing conditions, and tests may not reflect skills that the students have been taught. So of course, we have different sets of skills and not everyone is good at taking a test. So sometimes the most brilliant and intelligent minds do not shine in standardized tests because they do not have standardized minds. So that's all for my report. Thank you.